Mic check, check. All right, so you want to start a clothing brand and you want to probably have a place like this to ship all your stuff out of. You want to sell a bunch of merch. You got the hats, you got the accessories, but how do you start and what's the most important thing? Well, this video is going to cover the most important things that you need to think about when gearing up for launching your brand. And it's actually something that I'm going through. It's maybe like 87 days or something until my brand is launching a big next step, and I want to talk about what's going to happen with this video. However, it is Sunday and I have to release this video today because I'm doing once a week YouTube videos and I haven't shot anything, but my house is also super dirty. So we're going to go ahead and organize my house, and I'm also going to share some of these things that I'm working on and things you need to think about when you're doing your brand. So instead of being in here, we're going to go to the crib. Sheesh. My sprinklers are on outside, so I got a little bit of wet, but we're here in the house and we're gonna get some things organized because it's a mess and it's Sunday and we have to redo this today so that we can start the week right. But in the meantime, let's talk about what it takes to run a business, because I've been doing this like 10 years now, and it's coming up on our 10-year anniversary. It's gonna be a big rebrand, doing a lot of stuff that is honestly super cool. It feels really good that now, like 10 years into this business, I am able to relaunch and kind of do some things that I've done before. I found that I'm really just revisiting a lot of things that I've already done. And so this time around, I've learned a lot of lessons and I wanna go back through and do it the right way this time. And that's what we're gonna talk about in this video, is some of the lessons I've learned and those lessons and how I'm doing that this time around to have a successful launch. So let's get to it. Look at this golden light right here coming through the window. Okay, first things first, one of the most important things about every business is your website. And so for your website, one of the most important, that's like where everybody comes, is where they buy stuff, it's where they learn about you. And it's obviously like a really important part of your business. And so in thinking about my business, I had a couple of different options. I could have built my own website using Shopify. If you're not on Shopify, get on Shopify. There's really no other reason to do anything else. I could have bought my theme and done it myself. That's what it costs, like $300 and a lot of time. I could have paid someone about $1,000 to buy a theme and customize it. I could have paid about $4,000 for someone to build me a pretty good website, probably $4,000 to $6,000. Or I could have paid somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000. So this is the range that I was looking for my website. And really deciding what to do about all of this was, it was a tough one. I interviewed a lot of people. I thought a lot about who to hire, how to hire. Another thing I realized is that there was the website and the email, and I could have hired two different agencies to do this. Could have hired one agency for email, one agency for website, and I interviewed a bunch of people, but I decided to go with the same team because, first of all, Shopify is super important, Klaviyo is super important, having an email list from the beginning is one of the most important things you can have, and having really cohesive flows and website combination so that the branding on the website looks the same as the branding on the emails, which looks the same as the branding on the SMS, which looks like the same as the branding on your Facebook ads. You want it to all look really similar. And so for me, I was like, do I want to hire different people for these different roles, or do I want to hire the same team? And what I ended up doing was hiring the same team. I haven't fully finalized this yet, but I interviewed a bunch of people, and after deciding on these different options, I'm almost certainly going to go with one team to handle both the website and the email. Some of the things I thought about in this: conversion rate optimization. You think about design, you think about copy, you think about photography, you think about all these different elements that go into the site. And honestly, once you start going down this rabbit hole of like website, it gets really broad. But if you're gonna launch a website, if you're gonna launch a brand, thinking about your website is super important. Definitely one of the most important things to think about besides your product. So let's get into the product side next. Okay, for products. So up until this time, Live a Great Story, we've been selling a lot of pretty basic Live a Great Story merch, right? So it's been, for all practical purposes, just printing on blanks and still creating really amazing gear, but it's been a lot of accessories and a lot of printing on blanks. But with this whole new rebrand, the big focus is adventure gear. Everybody loves taking Live a Great Story out into the world. They go travel with it. They do all sorts of cool activities and adventures, and they send us a lot of photos and stuff. But we don't really have very much branded Live a Great Story gear. And so for this rebrand, a big part of this was getting more gear. So as you're thinking about selling stuff for your business, how do you get it? Okay, so there's a couple layers to this. I'm gonna run through this really quickly. You can print down the street, just type in, hey, find me a print store in Austin, and a bunch of people will find you prints. Or you can look for more elevated options. So you can find, places online who will probably sell you better merch. And then there's elevated blanks. Then there's kind of this next level where Pietra and Alibaba come in, which is sourcing gear from China, from Vietnam, from other countries. So you want to make really good stuff, honestly. That's such a big piece of all of this. You want to make really good gear, but how do you jump up in making gear, especially if you're just printing shirts? What does that actually look like? And so how do you source this and how do you find the places that are going to print you stuff is kind of a mix that really depends on what you're doing. Or you can print on demand too. You don't have to store any inventory. You saw my warehouse, that's where I store all my inventory. So there's levels to all of this. But I want to introduce you, if you haven't thought about this, to Pietra. It seems to be one of the coolest new options, which is kind of a half step for before you print your own stuff or fully manufacture and custom design your own things. And Pietra is just a really cool new website that basically makes it as easy as possible for you to launch your brand. So I highly recommend checking out Pietra. The last video seems to be an ad for Upwork. This video is probably going to be an ad for Pietra because you can just find really cool stuff. This shirt is from Pietra. So this is 100, I think it's 280 GSM, there we go. It's 280 GSM for this shirt. This is 100% cotton. I freaking love it. It's this oversized, baggy look, and I can't find this shirt really anywhere. Blanks that are easily to produce, but ordering through Pietra is really nice. So I have a lot of samples coming from them. And then of course you can level up into hiring someone and designing all your own stuff from scratch. That's definitely a more sophisticated route to go. That's what we're doing for the next step of all of this is hiring really performance apparel designers. And so that's going to be really the next step of this website rebrand and everything is doing that. But that's not happening until later this year for our fall winter collection. So for now, I'm just using Pietra to find and source some blanks to create some honestly super cool stuff. It's going to be way better than the things that we've made already. And it's way more organized and streamlined. And you also have help with people who can help you design things. So I'm sending people photos and just kind of getting design inspo from other people. And the Pietra team, the factories, they'll help you design it. So it's honestly a super cool way to organize and release new gear without needing too much money up front and without needing to spend too much money or know too much about design, because it just makes it all around a much easier, streamlined process. So I highly recommend doing that. Put this here for now. That's about product stuff. Let me know if you have any questions about product. This is one of the trickier parts in all of this planning, was how to elevate the product selection and just generally do a much better job of releasing higher quality products. So I didn't know how to do that, but now I know how to do it really well because I went on Upwork and talked to a bunch of people about it, and I looked at other brands, and I got on Pietra, and I've been talking to a lot of people, so I figured this out. So if you have any questions, drop them below. But in order to do the product and to do the website, you need kind of this next step, which is project management and designing some sort of foundation to run your business organized, because I'm not very organized. I'm a creative, big brain, big vision thinker. So I needed to get the numbers down and the details and the step-by-step, and that's gonna be the next part. So let's go check that out. And I just don't know if this is all gonna come together. I don't know if this is gonna make sense. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen with this video, but I do know that my commitment is making once a week YouTubes, and today is Sunday, so these videos gotta go out. Sticking to it. Okay, so being a visionary, creative person, my skill set is not in organizing things. And yes, there's like a certain amount of like need to be organized as a business owner, but at a certain point, if it's just not your skill set, it's just not your skill set. And that's kind of where I found myself with operations on the most recent round of things. Was I was like, I'm just trying to figure this out by myself. I need to hire someone. And I hired a operations person. I don't exactly know how to describe her, but she's in India, and we meet a couple times a week, and she basically is like a task management person who's helping me set up my ClickUp and really just figure out how to take this plan of launching this business and put it together on a long-term 100-day countdown. So all that's to say, maybe you're creative, you need to hire an ops person. Maybe you're ops, you need to hire a creative person. Maybe you're marketing, you need to hire a technical person. Maybe you're finance, you need to hire a marketing person. In your business, you're gonna have all these different things that need to be handled, all these hats that need to be worn. You cannot wear all of them. You can wear a lot of them for a long time. I've worn a lot of hats for a long time, but eventually you're gonna need to hire someone, and it's like, how do you do that as efficiently as possible is a big question mark. And that's kind of a piece of this, is like, how do you hire someone and bring someone on board, and how does it make sense for them to get paid, for you to pay them, and then for them to also deliver value so that they're getting paid what they're worth and also bringing in more than you're paying them. So that's kind of a tricky situation to unroll and try to figure out as I'm unrolling this. That's hilarious. But definitely hiring people and getting more focused on operations has been a big focus of this next phase. I highly suggest you doing it too, because it helps keep everything organized. So far we talked about your website, and then we talked about your products, and then we talked about operations. And these are all things that I'm doing to think about my business, and then bringing them all together is a big part of this. But that's not all there is. So the last big piece of this, and I don't know if this is all gonna come together, who knows? This is all stuff that's happening in my mind while I'm trying to clean on a Sunday. It's just as it goes, but I'm excited to be putting this video out. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. But the last part of this that needs to come together is really community. And this is who you're launching to, who your customers are, who you're serving. And it's the biggest part, one of the biggest pieces, because that's your business. And for this, one of the cool things that I'm excited about, I have so much Live a Great Story stuff everywhere. It's kind of crazy. This is actually one of my memorabilias. I don't know if this is gonna show up here, but this is a Live a Great Story from the 2019 conference. A cookie from Amy's Ice Cream. Shout out Amy's Ice Cream. But one of the cooler parts that I'm excited about for our community is just getting our community involved and doing this launch together. It's not like we're building this for them. We're doing this together. So this is kind of a mentality that I have, is that for this launch, I'm going to be very much involving our community and our ambassadors and past customers and taking them along on this journey. And so I'm getting people to join like a VIP launch list. We're gonna be sharing behind the scenes, sending previews of products to them, and preview products, testing, sharing design ideas, and kind of all different sorts of things to really involve our homies, because in the end, that's what it's about. We're building Live a Great Story, not just for the fun of it, but to help our people to go on this adventure of life that is our own great story. And so because of that, I want to bring people along together on this ride. And so it's something to think about in all of this. It's like, how are you serving your community in the process of launching your brand and doing it together, not just like behind closed doors and then launching it all of a sudden. It's like, no, let's build this together. I mean, I've been doing this 10 freaking years. Like, I know what I'm doing and I'm trying to figure out how to better share my knowledge. It's definitely not like a last minute video like this today where I'm like scrambling to, talk about all of this, but somehow I need to share what's in here and what 10 years of business has accomplished and everything that I've learned in 10 years. And so it's not like a lot of people are watching these things, but I want to help you if you're watching this. So thanks for checking it out. These are some of the things I've been thinking about in my relaunch. It obviously goes really deep. My spreadsheets on this are like super in depth, and honestly, it's just getting started. So like I said, it's how many days until July 12th?
It's 89 days until then.
89 days until this launches. It's 3 months. Today's the 14th. So a lot of stuff coming soon. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, check it out, do all that stuff. Let me know if you have any questions.